Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 grand, Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins get their bag. Too soon? Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you enjoyed the video. But we need to get into this. Jordan Poole, 4 years, $140 million, $35 million a year. Andrew Wiggins, 4 years, $109 million, about 27 mil a year. I'm sitting here thinking, one, there's a whole lot of things to consider around this. The big thing for me is too soon. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Too soon, and it's for a number of reasons. The first reason, because it begins to give credence to why Draymond Green might have been pissed off. There's somewhat of a code of ethics in sports. You take care of the guys you should take care of first. The guys who have been around, who've been a part of the core, who have been a part of building what you have today, you take care of those guys first. And then you take care of everyone else down the pecking order. Jordan Poole got his bag before Draymond Green. Now, some of y'all will read into this and say, well, because the Warriors are ready to move on from Draymond Green and there's an obvious commitment to Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole as the future. And yeah, good riddance. You know, Draymond Green was doing too much and he's always wilding out and doing all this stuff. Yeah. I don't want to hear all that. The reality is Draymond Green is much a part of building this house as Stephen Curry. Let me say that again. Draymond Green and Klay Thompson are as much a part of building this dynasty house as anyone else out of that triumvirate between Steph, Draymond, Klay. Poole is not a part of building this dynasty. Giving him his bag before Draymond was a misstep. Let me be clear about that. Draymond Green anchors your defense and your offense. When I say anchors, I mean he is your floor general offensively. He gets everybody in the right place. He makes sure that guys are cutting hard. He's the guy that's making the right reads. He's somebody who is able to operate with a high level of confidence in facilitating in this offense. I know a lot of people are going to point to last year in the NBA Finals and a little bit throughout that playoff series, playoff run, and you're going to say, "Well, hey, Draymond Green, he struggled a little bit." Who cares? You're acting like every NBA player on this team had an amazing NBA playoff series all the way through. You're acting as if Andrew Wiggins has been this person on every single team he's ever been on. You're acting as if Jordan Poole was starting and carrying this team all the way through the playoffs and into the finals. Jordan Poole struggled throughout the playoffs. Matter of fact, he got picked on. There were times he got played off the court because he got picked on so much defensively and he wasn't doing enough offensively to merit keeping him on the court, so they had to take him off. You might say, well, Draymond Green struggled too and they had to take him off too. The difference is Draymond built this, meaning that he is a core factor in this system, in this team being able to run and do what it does. Paying Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins before Draymond Green was a misstep. Not to mention that, it also gives some credence to, it might be true that Jordan Poole was joking and laughing, not at Draymond Green, but was celebrating his imminent extension before this moment. That he may have been in the locker room talking about building a Jordan Poole, right? When he gets all this money, he gets his bag, he's going to build a pool, he's going to call it the Jordan Poole, right? Because he's going to be the greatest. He might have been joking about that because he saw his bag coming. But here's the thing. If you take care of Draymond first, you don't run into that. You begin to set a precedent and say, hey, the guys who are part of establishing who we are is who we double down on. Let's be clear. If you get rid of Draymond Green on this team this season, With Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, you do not win an NBA championship. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Draymond Green is a part of probably one of the biggest reasons why Andrew Wiggins looked as good as he did defensively. You know why? Because take a look at him when Draymond wasn't there and when he was on the Minnesota Timberwolves in another spot. Really good on-ball physical gifts. Great length at 6'9", about a 7'1", 7'2" wingspan. Great athlete. Instincts, shaky. Never been known as a great defender. Definitely not a great team defender. Definitely not a defensive anchor. Going all the way back to Kansas. Right? He looked great because he had a defensive anchor behind him. Why does Kayvon Looney look so good defensively? Because of a defensive anchor behind him. You have to understand there are guys who make other guys look really good. And you have to make sure that you don't devalue the guy who may not have the same stats, but does so many of the intangibles that it allows other guys who previously had not looked as good to look as good as they currently are. That's what Draymond Green does for you defensively. Offensively, his level of confidence to get guys involved and tell them what to do in the most intensive situations. In the NBA Finals, he can tell Stephen Curry, no, you're not getting this one. We're going to give it to Clay. Who else is doing that? Kayvon Looney? I don't even know if you could play Kayvon Looney more than 18 to 20 minutes a game, especially in the finals. As good as Kayvon Looney has been, let's please not pretend at all that he is some all defensive level center, that he's even really a starting level NBA center in the NBA. He can start in the NBA because he has Draymond Green. And when you saw James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga yesterday looking so good against the Denver Nuggets, it was because they had Draymond Green back there, what would you call it, quarterbacking the defense and the offense, making the extra passes, reminding guys to move and cut, not just stand there. He gets everything rolling on both ends of the court, and yet you paid Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins first. Now, here's the other reason why it might have been too soon. Because there's another point guard who just got his bag in New York, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was the number 2 option for the Dallas Mavericks. He played point guard next to Luka Doncic. In that system, they were one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs, and they got all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson was the number 2 option. He has been a winner at every stage of his career. Let me be frank with you about there is something to be said about winners. The reason why guys are named winners is because they understand how to maximize their gifts, their talents, and the players around them within their system to ensure that they maximize their ability to win every single time out. It's a natural instinct. It's what they do without having been told. They don't have to be reminded of the scheme. They don't have to be reminded of who needs the ball. They don't get focused on themselves. They are constantly thinking about the outlook of the team. They win at a high level. Al Horford was one of those guys. LeBron James is one of those guys, right? There's not a lot of those guys in the NBA where you go, this guy's a winner. Jimmy Butler is one of those guys. This guy is a winner. He plays winning basketball. He makes the right plays so consistently that it becomes infectious to the entire team dynamic. And your efficiency on offense and defense goes through the roof because these guys know what they're doing. You can trust them. And Jalen Brunson, who's only 3 years older, right, only got 100 or something million. I think it's like 104 million, right? He got less than Andrew Wiggins. He was a number 2 option on a Western Conference Finals team. He showed out in that playoff run. He actually outplayed the Utah Jazz and Donovan Mitchell in the first round when Luka wasn't available. And he only got 104. You just gave Andrew Wiggins 109. Now, I understand it. Look, the value of a contract sometimes goes beyond what somebody is actually going to produce. Why? Because the Golden State Warriors now have the ability to trade these contracts moving forward to bring in somebody who's more of what meets the need for them, right? They can flip an Andrew Wiggins contract, right? $27, $28 million a year. And they could be like, hey, you know what? Let's go out and get somebody like a Bradley Beal, right? Let's go out and get somebody else, right? And bring them in. You have that flexibility. That's why these contracts are very valuable outside of if the individual player does or does not perform according to it. Not only that, but Andrew Wiggins is somewhat of an Iron Man. He doesn't really get hurt that often, knock on wood, right? And so he's durable, he's reliable. So he's somebody that teams are going to want. He's going to be able to play at a high level consistently for you within this team dynamic. But giving him his money before Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins works as well as he does because of Draymond Green. He ain't but that much better than Kelly Oubre. Let's be clear. Andrew Wiggins is but that much better than Kelly Oubre. He's a little bit taller. Both of them great athletes, great length, versatile wing defenders. Both of them, basketball IQ can leave some to be desired, but have extreme talent. And so they continue to get contracts. But the reality was we've all seen who Andrew Wiggins is when he was with Minnesota. They tried to make him the number one option. Nope. Couldn't make the playoffs. Made him the number two option. Still couldn't make the playoffs. It wasn't until Jimmy Butler came over and all of a sudden, okay, they're able to make the playoffs. Right? Jimmy Butler leaves. They can't make the playoffs again. Right? Andrew Wiggins has a ceiling. He's never going to be your number one option. Never really going to be your number two option. He might look like a number two option because he's got the third best defender on him because the first two best defenders are on Steph and Clay. And then now Andrew Wiggins gets to eat. But here's the thing. You just gave him $109 million before the man who built the system that he's able to thrive in. It's too soon. Too soon. Not only that, you got a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, and I just did this video about it. Jonathan Kuminga right now is already better than Andrew Wiggins. Is he as consistent? No. But let's keep in mind, Andrew Wiggins is a veteran. Andrew Wiggins has been around for a while, right? I believe he's somewhere in like upper 20s. I don't think he's in his low 30s yet, but he's probably like 28, 29, somewhere around there, right? And here you have Jonathan Kuminga being able to get to the rim with just about the same amount of proficiency, same amount of explosiveness, same ability to hit the offensive glass. But I'll say this much. I think Jonathan Kuminga has a far better motor than Andrew Wiggins, meaning that he moves at a higher intensity when he's on the court. He's constantly giving maximal energy to different movements, whether it's crashing the offensive glass, cutting off the ball, getting out in transition. He moves with a high motor. Andrew Wiggins has never been known for having a high motor, meaning that many times he seems to lack the motivation or the gumption to play at his maximal ability every minute that he's out there. And yet this is who you paid over Draymond Green, who you have never had to question that about. You never had to question Draymond Green's motor. He's always had a great motor. It's part of what has made him as special as he's been. Too soon. You paid these guys too soon. You forgot about the pecking order in the NBA. Now, I'm sure, let's hope for the best. In the next week or so, next couple weeks, Draymond gets his money. He gets paid. But here's the thing. Draymond Green is a part of the reason why you have what you have in Golden State. If you lose him, and here's the thing, if you disrespect him by not giving him his bag this season and making him wait until the offseason, do you know how disrespectful that is? You may end up in a situation where Draymond Green is like, you know what? Bump that. I can't stay even if I wanted to. The disrespect is too much. Here's the thing. Draymond Green not on this team next year. It's no longer a championship team. I don't care what you say. It don't matter if James Wiseman takes the next step, Jonathan Kuminga takes the next step. It's because they will lack a cultural aspect. They will lack a degree of toughness, of physicality, the basketball IQ on both ends, someone who facilitates and streamlines what they do to such a high degree. You have to realize the reason why the Golden State Warriors win at such a level is because the continuity in which they work on both ends of the court is so high. They execute as if it's a team full of superstars. They execute at such a high level that it allows them to outplay their physical gifts. They're able to get Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, so many open looks. They're able to get into their offense, get running up and down, getting guys off the ball, backdoor cutting, moving, and teams are chasing and running around, trying to keep up with the system. With the system. You're going to put the ball in Kayvon Looney's head and tell him to orchestrate this system? You'll put the ball in Jonathan Kuminga's hand. Tell him to orchestrate the system. That would be a mistake. That would be a huge mistake. Draymond Green should have been paid already. He should have been paid already. Paying Jordan Poole, who struggled just as much as Draymond did, just as much throughout the last playoff run. And you can say, hey, he's younger, he has a higher ceiling. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know about Jordan Poole's leadership skills. I haven't seen it. I don't know about Jordan Poole's ability to lead a team yet. When has he started? When has he started and led the Golden State Warriors into the playoffs? He's had short moments where he looked really good. He looked really good at moments before Clay got there. But let's be clear, he looks so good because he's also playing next to the one and only Stephen Wardell Curry and Draymond Green, who cover a lot of his mistakes, who open up the court for him and allow him to operate in such open space that he's able to get to the rim and not have to worry about double teams because everyone's still worried about Curry, right? But he also got picked on defense. He can get literally played off the court because teams pick on him so much, right? And if I'm looking at this year, I would not be shocked if the Golden State Warriors have their closing lineup as Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Klay Thompson, and Stephen Curry. Because now you have 4 elite defenders or very versatile physical defenders who can switch almost everything. And Stephen Curry is now at average or above average as a defender, rather than playing Jordan Poole, who's going to get targeted, right? And if that happens, now you have a $35 million a year guy who can't close. Not that he can't, but he's not your best option to close. It was too soon. It was too soon. But as always, I want to know what you all think. Holler at me in the comment section. I'm going to see y'all down there. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'm going to get at y'all next time. What do you think? Too soon or not at all? Peace.